mentioned that you don't really have to worry about stem changers in El Preterito. And that was only partially true because I said we'll deal with it later on. Remember that, okay, if it's an AR verb or an ER verb, okay, it does not stem change, all right? And so when it comes to those stem changers in the preterite, there's three like simple rules that I give my students. It's not like written here, okay? And so the first rule, all right, when it comes to stem changers is that it has to be an IR verb, okay? And so remember, there are certain verbs like pensar and volver and jugar. All of those are normally stem changers. But because they end in something besides IR, they're not going to stem change in the preterite, all right? The O's remain O's, the E's remain E's, all right? Nothing's going to change. If it's an IR verb, though, it's a different story, okay? And so here we have some IR verbs, okay? For example, pedir, which means to order or to ask for. Dormir, which means to sleep, okay? Those end in IR. So these we do have to worry about when it comes to stem changing them. But, rule numero dos. We only have to worry about it in what we call third person. Okay? Now, I know I'm giving you a technical term here. What do I mean by third person? Él, ella, usted, ellos, ellas, ustedes. Okay, that's it. All right. So, for example, once again, dormir means to sleep. If you want to say I slept, okay, you treat it just like a regular IR verb. Okay, you drop the IR. And that's why I wrote this over here. I'll put IR endings. Okay? You drop the IR and you just add an I with an accent. The O remains an O. Okay? So you're not even changing that. Yo dormí. I slept. Okay? If you want to use the nosotros. Okay? We slept. Nosotros dormimos. The O remains an O. You're just dropping the IR and adding IMOS. Same thing with pedir, okay, to ask for or to order. Yo pedí papas fritas. I ordered French fries, okay? Because it's not third person, all right? It's not él, ella, usted. You just drop the IR and add an I with an accent, okay? Nosotros pedimos una pizza. We ordered a pizza, okay? Same thing, all right? It's the nosotros form, so it's not one of those three. Here, I should do this. Not one of those three, okay? So it's just IMOS, all right? Now, what if it is third person? What if it is él, ella, usted, ellos, ellas, ustedes? Now we will do a stem change, but the stem change is different, okay? All E's become I, okay? Usually E's become IEs and only some of them become I's, all right? In the preterite, okay, all E's become I's. All O's become U's, okay? Normally, remember, O's become UEs, okay? But when you're in the preterite, it becomes just plain old U. All right, so if I want to say that Jesse slept 8 hours last night, okay, I would say él, O becomes a U, all right, durm, and then of course just the regular IR ending, IO with an accent mark, all right, so Jesse durmió 8 horas anoche, okay, he slept 8 hours last night. Okay, if I want to say that poor Logan and Nixon didn't get any sleep because, you know, too much partying going on, ellos no durmieron bien anoche. They did not sleep well last night. Both of you are like, so Logan's like, I'm always like that. So yeah, Nick's just like, me too. Okay, so yeah, okay, and of course, same thing with pedir, okay, Andres ordered French fries, so él pidió las papas fritas, okay, or I can say that Katie and Dale ordered coffee. ¿Dónde está el café? Okay, gracias. All right, I was going to say, oh, you're ruining my example, Katie. So I would say, ellos pidieron un café. All right, they ordered coffee. Okay? Preguntas on that so far? All right. Now, you see down here at the bottom, okay? They throw that in because when you are using these, okay, in the progressive tense, it is literally the same endings. And we did this when we covered the progressive tense. So it's not like a new concept, all right, because we've already made this change before. So if you recall, like if I were to call Justin's house and ask su mamá or su papá, puedo hablar con Justin? Can I talk with Justin? Okay, and his mom says, you cannot, porque él está durmiendo. What is él está durmiendo?
He's asleep.
Literally, he's sleeping, but yeah, he's asleep. He's sleeping, okay? When we did the progressive, the IR stem changers made the exact same stem change that we do in the preterit, okay? If you look on page 202, 202, okay, it gives you examples, okay, and it gives you 3 different verbs there. Servir, my slide shows pedir, but it's kind of the same thing. It shows you what it looks like in the present tense, and then it shows you what it looks like in the preterit, okay? So in the preterit, remember, that's why I do it the way I do it, because number 1, IR verb only. So look at the verb. If it's an AR or ER verb, ignore it. If it's an IR verb, then yes. Okay? And then número 2, it's only él, ella, usted, or ellos, ellas, ustedes. Okay? If you look at the last verb that's there, it gives you dormir, okay, to sleep, so it gives you that one. All right? Now, once again, there are reflexives involved. Okay? Divertirse, this is one of the reflexives that we learned, means to have fun. Okay? And this, once again, is to show you, all right? Always, 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 a million, billion, jillion times always. What do you do with the say?
Put it in the front.
Put it in the front. It doesn't matter which tense we're doing, okay? And it will always change to me, te, se, nos, os, or se, depending on yo, tú, él, ella, usted, ellos, ellas, nosotros, vosotros, ellos, ellas, ustedes, okay? Then all you're left with is this, okay? This is an IR stem changer, okay? So if you want to say, I had fun at the concert, okay? The yo form is may, okay? It's an IR verb, yes. But if I'm saying I had fun, is that third person? No, gracias, Lexi. It's not, okay? So you would just treat it like a regular IR verb. Me divertí en el concierto. I had fun at the concert, okay? But if I wanted to say, for example, we'll pick on Lexi because she did this, all right? If I want to say she had fun at the concert, okay? So, ella, se goes to the front, and because it's ella, it remains se. because it's third person, it's ella, okay? That E becomes an I. All right? So E becomes an I, and then you just add the ella ending. Ella se divirtió en el concierto. She had fun at the concert. Okay? So yeah. Okay? Preguntas on that. All right? Your textbook really goes like into all these different things, but honestly, in my almost 20-something years of teaching El Preterito, I tell students, IR verb only, third person only, E to I, O to U, okay? Just remember that and boom, you should be able to, remember which ones are stem change or how to do stem changers. The only issue, of course, how do you know if a verb is a stem changer or not? You just remember, okay? That's the only issue, is remembering which verbs do and which verbs don't. But honestly, for like this, something like this, I'll tell you, okay? Now, speaking of that, okay, if you go to the bottom, all right, number one, those are the IR stem changers that you're responsible for knowing, okay? So obviously the meanings, conseguir, to get or to obtain. And this brings up a good example here. Remember when you have two vowels that could be stem changed, conseguir has an O and it also has an E in it. Which one do you work with? Someone just whispered it. Say it louder. Gracias. The second one. So in this case, you're doing the E, okay, not the O. All right. Número uno. Same thing with the next one, despedirse, to say goodbye to. Okay. There's two E's. You're going to work with the second E. Okay. Now, if you notice, it has se in parentheses, okay? This means that the verb can either be used regularly, okay, or reflexively. Now, that's not like dormir and dormirse, because there it actually changes meaning. Dormir means to sleep, whereas dormirse means to fall asleep. Here, despedir and despedirse both mean the same thing, except that because there's 21 different countries that speak Spanish, some people will use it just like a regular verb, and some people will use it as a reflexive verb. I'm trying to remember my conversations. I use it reflexively, okay, but somebody else would just, use it normally, okay? Same thing if you skip down morir and morirse. That means to die, okay? I also use that reflexively, okay? Although, I would say something like el se murió, he died. I've heard a lot of people just say el murió, he died. Okay, so it would depend once again on the person. All right. The other thing, if you notice, all right, after some of those that have the se, all right, that is there in parentheses, you will notice that there's and let's look at morirse. There's a UE in parentheses, and then there's a U in parentheses. Your textbook is really, really nice. And it tells you what when you see that in parentheses? No? Those are stem changers, okay? So from here on out, and I know there's only half a semester left, but from here, about a month left. From here on out, every new verb you encounter, if it is a stem changer, it will literally tell you in the parentheses. The first group of letters is what it would be in the present tense, so that's an O to UE. In the preterit, that's an O to U, okay? So it literally will, the book tells you this one is a stem changer, okay? Obviously in conversation, I'm not gonna say morir, parentheses, UE, comma, U, and parentheses. I mean, I could, but I'm not gonna. But the textbook will show you, will tell you. Okay? And once again, it actually gives you the two changes that occur. Okay? So the rest of them, I'm not going to go through the rest of them, but those are the ones that you are responsible for knowing. Okay? The only thing here is that reírse, which is to laugh, and sonreír, which is to smile, they do require a slight spelling change because when you do conjugate them, when you do add the ending, you end up with two I's in a row. You basically just drop one of them. Okay? So if you write both I's, I guess depends on my mood, but I probably won't mark it wrong. But just remember that you need to drop one of the I's. That's the only spelling change it requires. Okay? And it's only those two. It's only reírse and sonreír. Okay? Preguntas. Then vamos a practicar. Let's practice un poquito. All right, tenemos mucho tiempo. All right, so. You can go with muchos. Okay. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. And pass it to the ladies. All right, so at the very top, okay, you have seis verbos. Seis verbos. Now, if you look at